Hello, welcome to the channel. Gang and Peanut, 2 peas in a pod. I'm in the greenhouse today. I was going to do some work over at the allotment, but it's forecast to be raining all day, so I thought I'll use the day, get in the greenhouse and catch up on a few jobs. I've got a few things to plant into containers today. I've got some strawberries that need to be put into some containers, some lettuce, there's some potatoes that need to go into buckets, 1 or 2 seeds that need to be sown, and some young plants that need to be potted on. So let's not hang around anymore, let's get cracking, because it could be a busy day. So the compost that I'm using today is this one. It's Levington's peat-free multi-purpose compost. I've riddled some of this compost. I'm not sure if it's going to be any good. You can see that there, it's well, we shall give it a try, you never know. I've added a little bit of fish blood and bone to the mix just to, so I know it's got something in it, because my experience with the peat-free, it's not fantastic, some of it. And if you know any different, leave a comment, let me know. So let's take one of these containers, put a little bit of this compost in, grab one of these little plants out of the pot. There we go. Just have a little check over it, make sure around the bottom there aren't any signs of any vine weevil damage, because they can be a pain in the backside. And again, if you've seen my video on growing strawberries, you'll know all about the vine weevil. So I think a little bit more in there. Pop that in the front there. There we are. Quite simple, so water that shortly. A couple of strawberry plants in there, one at the front, one at the back. We'll give that a go. That should be cool. And I'm going to do a few more of these, and I'll show you what I've done in a short while. Now, as well as the strawberries, I've got some lovely lettuce here that I sowed towards the end of January, and I think some of these in one of these, that'd be a good idea. Let's give that a go. Okay, so I'll just tease a few of these out of here. Come on, come on. Not a particularly big container. Pop those in there. Give it a little firm down there. There we are. That lettuce in a milk bowl container. I like it. I like it. Now, I've also planted some of this lettuce in one of my free containers. I think they'll do all right in there. They're looking a bit sorry for themselves just at this minute, but a little bit of water, a little bit of sunlight, they'll come round, and I think they'll be fantastic as a lettuce where I can just take the leaves I want as I want them. So that's another job jobbed. Brilliant. There we are. Strawberries and lettuce in some containers. Job's a good one. Lovely. Now, the next thing I'm going to do today, I'm going to sow some of these microgreens. I've already sown some, but I want to sow some more. I sowed some just about a week ago. They have really come up well, and they are going to be a fantastic addition to a salad. They are lovely. There's quite a mixture of different seeds in there. I think trim them up, sprinkle them on some salad, a little bit of that lettuce that I have. A nice salad coming together there. So I'm going to sow some microgreens. So I'm going to sow the microgreens in one of these. It's a food container again of some kind. Fill it with compost, damp it down, and then I'll just sow these seeds across the top. and they don't take long before they come up. What do they call these? A gourmet garnish. They're in the packet, and it's one of those packets again where you have to be careful because it doesn't have a packet within a packet. It's one of those ones where you can cut the top open and the whole lot spills out, but there's quite a lot of seed in there. So I'll take some out of this and I'll just scatter it across the top. Hopefully I've got a reasonable mix of the different types of seeds that are in the packet here. But they really are delicious. I was surprised. As a gourmet garnish, which is what it says on the packet, I think they're going to be fantastic. So if I sow some of these every few weeks, because I should imagine that if you're eating a few salads, these won't take long before they're all gone. Okay, on to the next job. And the next job, spring onions. And these spring onions I have here are Lilia. And I've got big expectations of these because the seed packet had a fabulous looking picture of some spring onions, and I hope these turn out something like that. Now these were sown on the 10th of March, which is about 3 weeks ago, and they were sown in these little modules, and they're quite happy in here. And the module sat in one of these little food trays, and the reason is that I knew the roots would come out of the bottom and they'd have something to feed on in this little food tray. So they sat in there like that. Well, now I think it's definitely time to get these little fellas out of here and into something bigger. I'm going to use a container like this. Now this is quite deep, but I should just fill the bottom of it up to, I don't know, around about there, with all the lumpy bumpy bits, then put some more compost up to about that level, and plant some of these in the top. There's some holes in the bottom. I've got some compost. Let's do it. Now I've got the bucket and I've riddled a lot of lumpy bumpy bits out of this compost I'm using today. There's a lot. However, it's not a problem because we can use them in the bottom of this bucket. Just tip something just to bring the level up a bit. There we are. Break some of this up. It is a bit lumpy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of these out of these modules and pop them into the top. Just a few bunches like that, and they'll probably happily grow away in here. So let me take a few out. Pop that one in there. There we are. A few spring onions in this container. Oh, bit of a casualty there. But hey, they've tried their best this far, so I'm going to give them a chance as well. Now I know at the moment it looks like they're kind of swamped in there, but once they get their feet into that soil, start taking up some nutrients, they will start to grow and they'll start to fill this container. Hopefully the bulbs will swell up and I'll be able to pull a bunch of onions and use them as I need them. Another addition to the salad. So the next job I'm going to do is I'm going to sow some more of those spring onions so that I'll have a successional sowing, so I'll get the spring onions over a longer period. Back in February time, let me just check this. Yeah, early February, so 8 or 9 weeks ago, I sowed some beetroot. There we are. And these ones will be going out into the garden, probably over the allotment to be honest with you. However, I do like the leaves on the beetroot. They're very tasty when they're young. And they have that beetroot taste. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sow some more beetroot, and I'm sowing them specifically for the leaves to add to this salad we're building. Cracky. So let's get on with that. A few holes with my fingers. I've showed you all this before in a previous video. Mad looking seeds, I think. Absolutely mad looking seeds. Down there. As I say, we're growing these for the leaves to add to our growing collection of salad items. So we'll just lightly cover the top. There we are. There's one or two poking through. There we are. Now that. Give it a little water, a little damp down. Well, because these seeds have quite a tough exterior, a tough shell, they'll need to sit in that water for a little while, absorb some of that water, break that hard outer shell down before they start germinating. So I shall pop a label on there. There's some beetroot sown for the leaves. So all in all, it's been quite a productive day so far. I think I'm going to give you a little look at some of the different stages of growth of some of the things that we've planted over the last 6 weeks and have been in previous videos. So let me show you some of the things we have going here. Now we've got peas, which are in various stages of growth. We have some sugar snap peas here, they're coming on. I do like the sugar snap peas, they're fantastic. Some Kelvin and Wonder, which are here. They will be, there'll be a few weeks and they'll be going out in the garden. Maybe these sugar snaps will be going into a container. I haven't decided yet. We have the Microgreens, which I showed you earlier, and they're ready to start clipping and eating. And I've sown another batch of these, so that I reckon in another week or two they'll probably be similar. So we're going to get munching on these. And we've also got some of the lettuce in these containers, as well as some lettuce in the bigger container, which is here. And again, these are ready to be eaten. I think I might have some in the sandwich this afternoon. We have our onion sets, which we started back in mid-February. These are ready to go in the ground now, and the first dry day we get, these are going in. Similarly, we have shallots. Again, they're ready to go in the ground. Just waiting for that day where it's dry enough to get over to the allotment and put them in. I've got potatoes that are chitting. They're ready to go in. I've already started planting some over at the allotment. Some of these will go in buckets and containers here at home, and the rest will go into the ground over at the allotment. So that's these potatoes. We've also got the continuing potato experiment. If you remember, I planted a couple of potatoes into these buckets to see whether one way of growing them or the other was better. And as you can see, these, I hope you can see that, these are just poking through. So I'll top the soil up some more, cover them up, let them grow through again, and then I'll cover them up, let them grow through again. The other bucket, obviously there's no sign of any growth yet, but then they've got to come from the bottom of the bucket right to the top, so the foliage starts to poke through the soil, or the compost. We'll see what happens with those. And if you remember, we've got the tomato experiment going on this summer. I planted some Bloody Butcher and some Crimson Crush very, very early, just as an experiment really. Plus, you know what it's like, we're all itching to sow some seeds and get going. So I'm going to have a Bloody Butcher and a Crimson Crush, one in the greenhouse, one in the garden, and we're going to have some that we sown a little later, same varieties. I'm going to grow them side by side and see if the earlier sown ones or the later sown ones fare better over the entire summer. As long as I get tomatoes, the experiment's successful as far as I'm concerned. I've also got some lettuce growing from seedlings, right up to bigger lettuce, and obviously some that we've put into the containers today. We've also got some brassicas, which are at different stages of growth here. This one was sown about 4 weeks ago, was it? Yeah, about 4 weeks ago. This one was sown about 8 weeks ago, so they're coming on quite nicely. They're not quite ready to go out yet, but 3 or 4 weeks and I'll be putting these out into the allotment probably. And that is what I've got on the go at the moment, all sown, coming through, developing into young plants. I have quite a few tomatoes in different stages of their growth, and 1 or 2 of them will be ready to put into larger containers to grow on in the greenhouse, and 1 or 2 are ready possibly to go outside into the ground, probably in the garden, so keep an eye on them. We're just waiting for the right weather, a little bit more warmth, a little less rain, and today it's very windy, so a little less wind would be good. That's what's going on in the greenhouse, the powerhouse as it's becoming, and I'm sure all of you have got plenty of seedlings going in your greenhouses or on window sills and window ledges or under grow lights. I think we're all waiting for the same thing really, the weather, but we can't control that, can we? So thank you for watching, and until next time, as ever, take care.